Good evening, all. I'm so glad to have you today at Grief to Grace podcast. How are you doing today? It's a beautiful sunny day today, and I am super excited because I have a very exciting guest in the house. Ooh, so exciting, so helpful, so beautiful, a beautiful soul ready to share her story today. So, are you ready? Like I'm ready. You're welcome to Grief to Grace, the podcast where we journey together from the shadows of sorrow to the dawn of a new beginning. So, I'm your host, Ruth Hephzibah, and today we have an incredible episode all lined up for you. And I know you will love this one. I bet you. Just like every other one, this one is beautiful. This one is awesome. And it's really going to share and help you heal. No matter what you're going through, this is that story that you need that can take you to the next stage of your healing process. But before we dive in, let's make sure that we stay tuned to the end of this episode so we can get all the tips that our guest has in stock for us today. And also, we'll also have all of the pre gifts and the bonuses that we give out at the end of our shows. So, at Grief to Grace, our mission is to provide a sanctuary for all who are navigating the turbulent waters of grief. So, we're offering hope, we're offering healing, we're offering empowerment, and we know that you are ready, and God is not through with you yet because He is ready to take you from this stage that you're at and take you to the next stage of your life where He's going to give you true healing. So, in our pursuit of this mission, I'm excited to introduce to you our book. And this book is A Pen That Will Rise Grief. A Pen That Will Rise Grief is that book that you need in your journey. It is a unique book that serves as a transformative tool guiding you through the process of rewriting your grief story. So it's designed to help you through all of your process, help you process your emotions, find meaning in your experiences, and also ultimately embrace a life of grace. So if you have this book, it's a 60-day guide that can help you through this journey. You will be so glad that you did. You will be so glad because it's going to help you through this journey. I tell you, more of everything you see here are the things and the tools that I use to navigate my grief. And like I promised the other day, I said I'm going to share some of my grief story. I'm going to share some of my pictures so you see them and you see how I was able to move from one stage to the stage that you see today. And these interventions are the interventions that I used and they helped me. They are very beautiful tools, and you'll be so glad that you did. And just like what I'm wearing today, you can rewrite your story. You can write how you feel. This is me, and this is how I feel. This is how I feel. The best legacy is how much I impact people's lives. That's what I wrote here. And you can have this. When you DM me, I will let you know how you can get this kind of shirt. You write it in your own words and the way you want it to be. So, we are thrilled to introduce to you today our amazing guest. And our amazing guest today is Nancy Nance. She is a recovery coach from Edmonton, Alberta, in Canada. So, having experienced the profound loss of a child, Nancy has dedicated her life to helping others recover from PTSD, past traumas, stress, and drama. So her recovery has been very beautiful. Her recover from joy strategy is a beacon of hope that you need, guiding people to transform their dreams into reality. So today, help me welcome to this beautiful podcast our beautiful guest in the house, Nancy, as she shares a story with us today. So you're welcome to the show, Nancy. Thank
Thank
you for joining.
you. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. My mother named me Nancy. My friends call me Nance. So
Oh,
that's how Nancy Nance came about.
whoa, that's beautiful.
A little bit like it's a little bit of a rename, kind of like Cher.
Yes, same here. My parents named me Ruth, and I named myself Hephzibah. So I got Ruth
Beautiful.
Hephzibah, and everybody calls me Ruth Hephzibah. And I think I love it. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're
Nancy,
welcome. You're
are you
welcome. My
ready to
pleasure.
share your story with us today? Your journey and how you've come to develop all of your recovery, your joy strategies. And I know everyone, the listeners, everybody want to learn how they can benefit from this strategy that you got. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your incredible journey. Thank you for everything. It's truly inspiring. When I saw your video, I was really inspired.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the video that I sent to you is from my YouTube channel, Recover Your Joy. And you got to scroll back quite a few years to that video. It's interesting how time no longer feels the same way after the loss of someone that you love. And for me, that was the loss of a child. My
Oh,
daughter, Emily Joy, that's why my everything is joy. My legacy is joy. When Emily Joy died in a tragic boating accident,
mm,
my life was just destroyed.
mm,
My present was destroyed, my future was destroyed, and my past was no longer available to me in my memory bank the way that I wanted it to be. We
mm,
don't remember the same after we've lost someone that we love. Our brains are physically impacted
mm,
by that. And for me, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand how I couldn't use all the strategies that I had at one time. I didn't understand why this happened to me. And such a beautiful, divine little girl. She didn't do anything to deserve death,
mm.
right? Yeah.
Wow. I can imagine. I can truly imagine how you felt because losing a child, like I always say here, I try to put myself in those shoes. I remember when my husband passed, the mom could not take it. She passed the same day. So every day I remember that, I tend to put myself in the shoes of mothers who are going through same because most times their lives can really never be the same again. When they see all the things and all the aspirations they got with their kids, and it's just a lot. I really thank God for how far you've gone and how you've been able to impact in the lives of others. And I know that the Lord is going to take you to the next stage very, very well. So now we're gonna can you please go into some of the stories and everything that you've gone through? So can you share your story, the story of your loss and how it impacted you initially?
Oh, definitely. So it was August 26th, 2011. And my daughter Emily was on a sea-doo with her brother Jarrett. Beautiful summer afternoon, very much like today. And they were returning from the ferry docks. They were going there that day because Emily wanted to jump off of these high docks. And she didn't. She was too afraid to jump off the docks. So they came back and they were coming back slowly. The other sea that they were traveling with was in front of them.
Hmm.
Jarrett's friend at the time was in front of them, and a boat swerved to miss that sea and then hit Jarrett and Emily.
Hmm.
Emily died immediately on impact,
Hmm.
and Jarrett sustained terrible injuries. His shoulder was torn open. There was shrapnel in his arm, like he was at war. It was awful. His patella was smashed on his knee, and his spine was twisted 13 to 15 degrees.
Hmm.
So, I mean, his face was black and blue. It was just awful. And he felt such terrible pain physically and emotionally that I knew that Emily had gone to another place.
Hmm.
When I touched her body on the dock where she was laid after she was pulled out of the water, it wasn't the same. It just wasn't the same. When I put my hands through her hair and hit that spot where the blood was, I just stopped. And I knew that I needed to leave her body and go to my son. Her father stayed with her body, and I went to find my son. And I'm so grateful for all of the first responders who helped me find the ambulance, because I was just like the walking dead. I was a zombie. There was nothing that I could do. I mean, by the grace of God, each footstep went ahead. And my sister in law was there with me, Tanya, and she was able to take me to the hospital so I could take care of my son while my husband took my daughter's body and laid it to rest in the morgue.
Hmm. That's, whoa. I can imagine how you felt.
Oh,
I
I was
really,
distraught. I was distraught. So when you ask what were some of the most challenging moments I faced during the grieving process, oh gosh, there were a few. Um, the expectation that we move forward, that we get over grief. Grief isn't something that you get over. It's not like bad digestion. It doesn't pass. It stays with you until you're able to move forward through the days, weeks, months, and years as you learn to live a different life. We learn to live a different life. We learn to live a life without our child. We learn to live a life without the opportunity to walk them down the aisle and go to their graduation and all of those things that were promised. Those were promised. Isn't that what a mother gets? Isn't that the way that life works? You have a child, you have a daughter, you get to walk with her down the aisle. And then when the firsts come along, that's when the challenge is great. When her first birthday came along, and I decided that I was going to do what we would have done together. So I went to get a pedicure alone. That was one of the most difficult days of my life. And yet I was celebrating her birthday. I went and had cupcakes and did all of those things because I was pretending that everything got better. In the days, weeks, and months, I learned how to do what I needed to do. I was blessed to have a very wonderful counselor over the years who helped me. I was blessed to be able to have a very supportive group of friends. I mean, I had girlfriends that brought me casseroles and did my laundry. I have 4 sons, and they were all incredibly supportive. So it did evolve over time as I accepted the feelings that I had when I had them. I fully embraced my anger. I was the most angry person that you would have ever imagined. You wouldn't recognize me. I was seething with anger. I was angry at the man, they say woman, according to police records, who was driving the boat. And I had to learn to unburden myself, unburden my heart, so that I could learn to try to understand. Just try, just try. When my husband at the time, who's now my ex husband, and I divorced, I was given more opportunity to be able to do what I needed to do. I became a certified yoga teacher. That was one of the ways that I went through my grief, because I was angry with God. I was angry with Jesus. How could they do that to me? The people that I trusted the most. How could they take her from me? And it's words sometimes that will evoke such feelings. Words like sorry for your loss, kind, wonderful, heartfelt. They were like razor blades because for me, I didn't lose my daughter. You lose a backpack, you lose a bet, you lose those sorts of things. I didn't lose her. She wasn't gone. I just couldn't find her. So that was a big one for me. Were there any specific turning points that helped me start to heal? When I went to yoga teacher training, that was a huge part of my healing. I learned to understand the space between the breath. So when we inhale and we exhale, there's a space. It's a gap. It's that spot where in that moment everything is better, okay. And as I started to incorporate the things that made me heal easier, then I was able to heal easier. I went through so many different holistic treatments, so many different supportive therapies. I went to my doctor. My doctor was kind. He was wonderful. He wrote me sick notes for life, told me that I needed a vacation. And he suggested that I look into a different form of therapy. So, talking with a public health nurse. I'm in Canada, so that's what we have as a public health nurse. And she asked me to look at my life and see where it was in my life that I was missing something. And I was missing fun. I was missing fun. I was missing joy. I didn't know how to have fun without my daughter. And I did know how to enjoy time with my sons. So we would go to concerts together. We would go for picnics together. We would watch movies all night long and eat popcorn. We did so many things together and we spoke about our feelings. When I was having a difficult day, I called it an E day, E for Emily. And I reached out. I said, I'm having an E day. I need your help. So, in saying, I need your help, I was able to start to heal. And I was open to suggestions for support. Open to suggestions for support. Hmm. Faith. Oh boy, faith over fear. Faith over fear. I learned to have a very open relationship with angels. That was a bridge for me because I was angry with God and Jesus, a natural feeling. I was able to communicate with angels. So I started with the Archangel Raphael. He is the angel of healing. And I began to study angels. I began to clarify that I wasn't just talking to angels, angels were talking to me and through me. And I clarified that I heard my daughter's voice and I heard it every day. And instead of thinking that there was something wrong with me, I accepted that everything was right with me and that I needed to share my gifts with others. So, in learning how to tap into my spirituality, I tapped into what worked for me. So, for me, it was God, universe, source. So, I call that Gus. Gus was easier for me to say than God. I was angry with God. And until I was able to create a different relationship with God, then I was able to once again talk to God. But talking to angels, archangels specifically, really helped me. Creating a sacred process every day. I would meditate, do yoga. I would smudge. Smudging became very important to me. Journaling. Oh boy, I wrote letters to God. Dear God, it's me, Nance. And then I talked to Jesus. So the coping mechanisms that were very helpful for me were journaling. I was able to write down what it was that I felt. I wrote everything in my journal. It was such a sacred space for me. After my journal was read uninvitedly, I made it very clear to everybody that my journal was mine, only mine to be read, because I wrote the truth in there as well. my truth, sometimes harsh. I wrote about the people that I believed betrayed me. I wrote about my abandonment. I felt very, very, very abandoned. Um, Gosh, there were so many things that I did to cope. I learned to work through my addictions. I had overcome my addiction to cocaine and crack, and I wanted to surrender to that numbing. So instead of numbing, I became deeply connected with my emotions. I went and experienced Reiki. I wondered what Reiki was, so I experienced it. I then became a certified Reiki practitioner, 3 years of Reiki training. And then I discovered spiritual response therapy, SRT. And then I traveled the world, went to Arizona, and learned that. I learned about Bach flower essences. They have been around since 1920. I learned about essential oils and I became an essential oil expert. I fell in love with healing. And then I began to share. I began to share with people because they saw that there was a change in me. And then I started helping others with their journeys through grief. How did you find grace amidst your grief? My name, Nancy, means grace. So for me, understanding grace, I'm like, what the heck is grace? Grace is going with the ease and flow of life. So on the days that I didn't feel good, I didn't feel good. Instead of lying and putting on a fake face, a facade for others, I'm good, I'm good, I'm fine. Fine is not an emotion. Good is not an emotion. Okay is not an emotion. I feel sad. I feel angry. I feel irritated. I feel despondent. To find the words for emotions is one of the greatest ways to work through grief, past trauma, stress. When someone calls you up and says, "Hey, how you doing?" And you're, "I'm good, I'm good." And the dog just peed all over the floor. I just stepped in it. I'm good. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm hungry, whichever it is. So grace, I understood it through the Tao. Then I read the Tao of Pooh. So the Tao is spent Tao of Pooh. It's the story of Winnie the Pooh, and Pooh means the uncarved block. I learned that I too was an uncarved block and that God had purpose for me. My perspective on life has changed in that I know that today is the only day. There is no other day that I have to begin my healing. The more I heal, the more I heal my family because energetically we're all connected. So that's why when I say that I didn't lose my daughter is here because I can feel her energy. I smell cotton candy and bubble gum when she is in the room. So I savor every single moment like a lemon drop candy. I adore spending time with my granddaughters. They call me Nona Sparkles. I put sparkles in packages that I send to people that I love. I do everything that I can to make a difference in not just my day, but another person's day. Self care is the most important thing that we can do for ourselves and for others. I have a self care strategy morning, afternoon, and night. The advice that I would give to someone who's going through the loss of a child or someone that they love is to make it moment by moment, breath by breath, and minute by minute. Tracking the difficult times in our lives takes such tremendous effort. Please rest. Please have a nap. Please tell somebody how you're feeling. Because when the others, the people who didn't lose their daughter, or their husband begin to move forward in their life and you're stuck where you're at without them. You will need more support than you ever imagined. You will need the angels on this earth to help you, as well as the heavenly angels. You will need them all. Please create a support system. Please reach out to someone who has gone through something similar and who has survived. One of the beautiful experiences with me was the writing, and my writing turned into my memoir, which comes out on my birthday this year. Oh, particular message or lesson. Oh my goodness, my daughter taught me so many things. I told Emily when she started something that she had to finish it. When she started playing on the soccer team, she had to finish it. Quitters were not allowed to quit. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. So please, please, please hold your hand on your heart, feel it beat, and tell yourself that you are worth every moment and minute that it takes to heal. Be honest with the people around you and let love into your heart. Music. Listen to music that will bring you into a space and place of healing. I have a CD on Spotify, ONE, Spirit in Joy, and it's based on a Bible verse. Gosh, I can't remember which one, but it's in Philippians. And I did that so that I didn't have to listen to myself saying it over and over again, so that I could have something to go to help me rest and restore and understand the spiritual connection that we all have to something greater than ourselves. Oh, I honor and remember Emily in my everyday. I have joy. Oops, it's going to be bad. Maybe, maybe it's not backwards. Joy in my life everywhere that I go. I honor her with that word. I honor her by talking about her as though she is here, because she is. My daughter is Emily Joy Chaplin, and she's forever 10. My daughter is a saving grace in my life. My granddaughters know of her. They know of Auntie Emily, who's an angel in heaven. Speak as though they are here. Speak to your loved ones. They can hear you. And if you are struggling to hear them, reach out to someone that can help you. There's always a way. Please hold on to hope. Moments of joy or peace. Oh my gosh, butterflies. Emily would send me butterflies. That's why I have a butterfly tattoo on my neck. We would have so many butterflies. They would land all over the patio and the deck. And each time a butterfly landed, we would call each other. Same with ladybugs. We had a lot of ladybugs. We had a ladybug infestation in our home in the middle of winter. And winter here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada is cold. So, how is that possible? Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. My hopes for the future are that I can continue to carry forward my story. My story as a survivor's guide for hope. Choose Joy, a survivor's guide for hope. My mission is to speak on as many platforms as I possibly can. I'm blessed. I'm blessed because I have spoken my story to help many people understand the debilitation that grief can be, and that instead of going into that numbing state by using substances, alcohol, drugs, shopping, avoidance, that when you operate with faith, hope, and trust, you can move forward. Your loved one wants you to heal. Setbacks? Oh gosh, when my husband left me for another woman, I was set back a few paces. Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, it seems strange that I'm smiling about this now. We're talking about over a decade. Financial setbacks. Uh, I went through physical setbacks. I struggled with migraines. I had a cluster migraine that lasted for 35 days. I grit my teeth. I ground my teeth. I broke the mouth guards that I had in my mouth. And then I went for help. So, any setback that I had, I needed to use choices. Challenges are choices, obstacles are opportunities. So I was honest with my dentist. I told my dentist that I was grinding my teeth and that I had cracked my mouth guard. I cracked teeth. So I had teeth that had to be removed. It was very, very painful. I developed endometriosis. My endometriosis developed into endometriosis and polycysts in my ovaries. I mean, the I developed skin cancer. It was so much, and I knew that it was all directly related. So I found the emotional and physical connection. I read books. I've got hundreds of books, and I've read through many of them. And then I took what I learned so that I could help others. I shared. Self care. Self care is the way that I live my life. I have geranium, cypress, peppermint, wintergreen, and eucalyptus right beside me. I made an entire um, product line of essential oils because they help. When you put geranium and cypress on your wrists, they're very, very good for the heart chakra. And then smell them. There's a moment that you have for you. I go outside every single day. I put my feet in the grass. I soak my feet in the water of the stream that's near my home. In the wintertime, I go outside and bear bear the winter the best that I can when it's minus 35 Celsius. I have fun. I make snowmen. I do everything that I can to remember that the gift of today is presence, being present. I grow every day. My project, which one? Recover Your Joy is my legacy to help people recover from the strains of life. Recovery is more than just alcohol and drugs. Recovery is moving from a place of discomfort and dis-ease into a place of happiness and hope where you can create any dream that you want to. I've been coached by some amazing coaches. I've been mentored by some amazing healers, and I took everything and wrote about it. I started doing spreadsheets so that I could understand the different properties of essential oils. Same with the Bach flower essences. Everything that I do is to offer hope to people. I meet you where you're at. You don't need to be fixed. You're perfect. You're divine. You are loved so very, very much. You matter. So, Choose Joy: A Survivor's Guide for Hope is my memoir that came out 55. I'm going to be 55 this October. Kind of fun. 55. Freedom 55. The freedom to do what I want to do.
Wow. Thank you so much. 55. You don't look it.
55. Yeah, really 55.
No, really, you don't look 55. You look so young. You look younger than 55.
If you
Oh,
saw my thighs, you might think different.
yeah. And that's how it can be for you, when you decide today to quit everything that you're doing that is unhealthy to your grief journey, and you
Exactly.
decide to take it in a healthy way so that God can lead you to peace. God can lead you to progress. God can lead you to the place that you need to be right now. And I told you, you will be so young. And like you said the other time, you said you chose God, you chose the universe, and you chose self. And I think that is what we all need to do. We need to choose that. We need to choose God. We need to choose the universe. We need to choose ourselves. Because
Yeah.
the first thing is yourself. If you don't take good care of yourself, Nobody's going to take care of you.
It's a beautiful process when you begin to investigate what you're curious about. I always wondered about God the Father. I'm like, what about God the Mother? So I looked into Mary Magdalene. Wow, that was such a beautiful experience. I remember reading Conversations with God, all of them, over and over again. I became curious, and then I
Mm,
began to listen. I believe listening is one of our greatest gifts. There's a reason God gave us two ears and one mouth.
yes. I tell you, we need to listen more. So we can listen more to God, we can listen to ourselves, we can listen to our environment, and everything is definitely going to be okay. There's nothing you can do on your own. So you need to just take life one day at a time, do the best things that you can do at every given point in time, and
Mhm.
enjoy life as much as you can. Because if you do not enjoy life, when it comes or any setback comes, you will be the one to actually regret most of those things. And also, the people we have around us, how well do we treat them? If you don't treat them properly, like Nancy said, like she said, she told Emily, you need to do it, because that's the right thing to do. You need to take charge of it. You need to take charge of your life at that time. You need to know that you're not going to quit in this journey. You need to know that the grief is temporary, and how long you want it to be is determined by you. So you can.
Absolutely. It is
Yeah.
temporary. It is temporary. This life is temporary. Whether you believe in past lives or not, this life is temporary. This life is a gift, and so are you.
Yes, that's it. So we
Mhm.
just need to understand all that so that we will not have regrets at the end of it all. And no matter what you're going through, because I've noticed that most people, because of grief, you go into a lot of stuff. You go into addictions. You go into, like me. I at some point I was like, no, God, you cannot be telling me that you love me and you did this to me. At some point I really didn't even believe that God could heal anybody. I didn't believe God could do anything, even when He proved Himself even better than I could see. And I felt, no, if God could take away my loved one, then He doesn't love me.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and
Absolutely.
sometimes we just have to question Him. We have to question all of the processes that we're going through. And along the line, most people lose it and go into ulcer. That is not the healthy way to go through grief. And that is why
God
you,
has big shoulders. God has big shoulders. He can handle anything we say. We can say anything to God. We can develop a friendship with God. And if your reflection of God is more that of a woman, then have that. If your reflection of God is a child, then have that. God is everything. God's omnipresent. So
yeah,
God can be whatever it is that makes you feel a little bit better.
that is it. And if you need to reach out to Nancy Nace, her website is right there on the screen, and that is www.exponentialjoy.com. Reach out because I've gone through everything, and she's doing a whole lot of awesome stuff there. So you need to go through her process and see how it works. Why are we doing all this? Like I keep saying, when God asked me to go into grief to grace, I didn't understand why. Initially, I had a nonprofit, which is Echoes of Life, and I was helping people through grief through that platform. And that was, God said, no, I need you to do something different. I need you to do grief to grace. And I remember I really didn't even know the template, how God wanted it to be. And God brought it out in His own way. And He said, I want people to share their story. I want people to share their stories so that people can be healed. And I tell you, a lot of persons have sent a lot of testimonies, and I keep receiving lot and lot of testimonies on how this program has healed them and is helping them. And I just cannot thank God enough. And I know that you are here right now, watching, listening, wherever you are, whatever you are. What if it is unhealthy? Quit. These are people who have gone through the same processes. We have all gone through these processes. It's not healthy. It's going to kill you. It's going to take you down the drain. And there's something Ness said when she said she got, because of grief, you can develop so many other issues. You can develop cancer. I
Mhm.
had PTSD. I had acute stress. I had just so much going on with me. I had cholesterol. I had just so much going on with me because I was grieving. These were things I never had before. I I know my son was almost developing blindness. He was having blurred vision
Mm.
and all sorts. And there are just so much that can happen if you don't quit grieving in a very unhealthy way.
It's
Complicated grief kills.
it's a communication. We have to speak. We have to
Yes,
feel it in our heart. There's a reason why so many women, after the loss of a child or a husband, develop breast cancer and heart issues.
yes,
Women feel here. Men are different. Men feel in the other areas of their bodies. That's why
yes,
there's prostate cancer more in men than there is in women. It
it's,
is the way that it is. I mean, we're all human beings and we are all beautifully different.
yeah.
Um, and yet we are energetic beings. This skin, I mean, isn't it a miracle that our skin stays on our bodies?
Mm-hmm. That's it. It's a
Cool.
miracle.
The hair it keeps on growing. All of these things that are just, we are so divine. We are so beautiful and we have so much to give to this world.
Yeah, that's it. So you have a lot to give to the world. You have a lot to render. Don't quit today. Never you quit. I think I like that word and I'm going to stick to it. Do not quit. Don't quit.
Quitters
Do
never
what
win and winners
you do.
never quit.
Yes. Do what
Yeah,
you need to do.
right?
Keep doing it.
If you look at the word impossible and you
Mm-hmm.
take an apostrophe, I apostrophe am possible. I'm
I'm
possible. I
oh,
am possible.
whoa, that's true.
I'm a creative writer. I'm good at this.
That's awesome. So yes, so today, if you've not learned anything, I think you should learn that. You should learn that I'm possible. Everything is possible with me. Healing is possible. Joy is possible. Grace is possible. Happiness is possible. You can start afresh. So a fresh start is possible. So we're not saying you're going to forget the past. You means that you're going to live, like I keep saying, grief. You live with it all your life because you're going to have all these memories all your life. But how do you want to remember these people? Remember them in a healthy way. Remember them for good. Remember that they've gone to meet with their creator, the one who brought them here, who loves them and loves you too. And they are there, bright angels like the butterflies and the ladybirds that are coming, shining and watching after you. Because right now they have become saints, they have become angels, and you have an advocate in heaven. So when you have that at the back of your mind, you will think less about how they feel and how they are. Leave that to God to handle and take good care of yourself because self love, self care is what you need right now. So, thank you so much, Nancy Nance, for sharing with us today. I'm super excited. Like I told you at the beginning, we have an amazing person today, and you could hear it. You could feel it. She shared from the bottom of her heart how she feels. And I'm always very particular when I get to hear about the death of a child because I know how painful it can be. Because we got a whole lot of prospects. We've thought of how big and how that child is going to be, and everything is just truncated. But God has a reason for everything, because they become angels watching over us, and they are here with us, and they are here. And like Nancy, she didn't just, really, you didn't just pass through the that of the child. You also had like the grief from the divorce and all the stuff. So there are lots just going on with a lot of people. I don't know what is going on with you right now. Know that there is grace even in your grief. So on this note, I'm going to share our three key takeaways, which is the importance of acknowledging and processing your trauma in a very healthy way. And also the power of finding purpose and meaning in your loss. Then the third one that I get from it is the strength that comes from helping others through our journey. As we keep sharing and sharing our stories and helping others, we receive healing along the way. So, Nancy, do you have like three takeaways you want to give to our listeners today?
When we look at the challenges in our life and we understand that what we have already gone through is a prediction for what we can go through, by the grace of God, I go. Think of all of the things that you've already gone through. Give yourself a pat on the back. You've succeeded in everything that you've done so far. You've even succeeded in the failures. You've succeeded. You are here. So breathe in, I am, and breathe out, here.
Hmm.
You can, you must, and you will make
Hmm.
it through to another day.
Wow.
Is that three?
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. So, as we wrap up today, I would like to leave you with a Bible passage as usual. And today's Bible passage is that which resonates deeply with our theme today. And that is, He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. I don't know who God is talking to. He
Mm,
definitely will wipe.
learning to allow yourself to cry is a beautiful place to be as well. When someone is grieving
He will
and
wipe
they
away
are
every
crying,
tear
I
from
think one of the
your eyes.
greatest gifts
And I tell
is
you,
that,
God is
allowing
going to
the
do
tears
more
to flow,
than
allowing
you
someone
can
to
imagine.
continue to cry.
There is nothing God
Kaboom, boom.
cannot do.
48:08:09. We're freezing.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now,
Okay.
sweetie. There we go. I was just
Okay.
explaining how important it is to allow yourself to cry. So when
Okay.
someone is going through grief and they're crying, let them. Passing someone a tissue isn't always the best choice.
That is it. Wow. Thank you so much. It's so awesome to be here today. And before I leave you, I want to just remind you of my book again. So get it. It is a pen that writes grief, and you can get it from our website, and you will be so glad that you did. Thank you so much, Nancy, for joining us today. And I
Welcome,
know that
welcome.
you have blessed somebody, and a lot of persons have heard from you. And like I said, you can reach Nancy on her website, which is on the screen, and she has a lot of programs that you can key into. So join her as she continues to share her story, and you can invite her for any speaking engagements or whatever you want to do, and she will gladly come and share the stories with you and help you through your healing, through PTSD, through your past traumas, through your stress, and all that you've been through, and bring joy to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Till we meet again, I love you, but don't forget to share, to like, and to share this particular episode, and also tell somebody about Grief to Grace, because that is the whole essence while we're here, letting people know we are in the process of sharing, letting people know how much grief can impact your life and why you should not grieve in a very unhealthy way. Thank you and God bless you. Bye.
Bye.